Hello friends, as part of today's current affairs discussion, we will be looking at the topics for today, that is NRC and the National Register of the Citizens and the Zika virus would be looked under the prelims topics, whereas in case of editorial topics, would be looking at the proposed amendment bills to the citizenship. When it comes to the first topic for today, that is the National Register of the Citizens, here the background for this NRC is that the court has asked the authorities not to act against the 40 people who were left out of the final draft that is published on July 30th. So that is the news article here. But what is very relevant for prelims point of view is that here there is a keywords that is to be noted down. That is the first one is that NRC, National Population Register, and Ministry of Home Affairs, and the meaning of legacy data, and the Assam agitation, Assam Accord, and the way forward. So these are the certain keywords that has to be discussed under this NRC claims topic. Here you have to focus that what is the meaning of NRC. As you know that, so this NRC, that is the National Register of the Citizens, is a voluminous data and it consists of the database of the citizens of the country. It means that it consists of entire database of the citizens of the country, not only the Assam. It was first updated in 1951 after census 1951 was carried out, and it is based on the census 1951. Since 1951, it was not updated. But the various sections of the Assam state were demanding updating of this NRC because there is an issue of the illegal immigrants, illegal migrants to the state of Assam. But in case of other states of the country, so that issue is not a very relevant topic for us. And the next keyword is that National Population Register. This National Population Register is also a database consists of the population of the country. Here, the database of the National Population Register not only consists of the citizens of the country, but also the foreigners who are residing in the country of more than 6 months are planning to stay for next 6 months. So again, this NPR doesn't consist of NRIs, that is non-resident Indians who are residing in the some other country in more than 6 months. Both the National Register of the Citizens and the National Population Register were governed by the Citizenship Act, 1955. Both the functions of this updating this NRC or maintaining the National Population Register is the primary function of the Office of the Registrar General and Census Commissioner, which is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Here, the problem is that why the Assam is demanding updating of the NRC. As you know that there are many factors, both the historical as well as the present political consideration also. So as you know that the illegal migrants, particularly from Bangladesh, is a problem in the state of Assam. These migrants not only is not only the issue in the present context, but also in the pre-independent era. So these migrants from the Bangladesh also were migrating into the state of Assam in search of better employment. But as you know that during the 1971 war, the influx of these migrants into the state of Assam so is major problem. India is also welcome these migrants, so particularly the Bangladeshi citizens. So during the war of 1971 war between East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and Indian government has also taken active part in the 1971 war. So as a result of this 1971, the maximum influx of these migrants so is entered into the state of Assam. So as a result of these migrants and migrants entering into the state of the Assam, so there is a continuous conflict between the natives and the migrants in the state of Assam. Thus, that has led to the agitation in the form of agitation. So during 1979 to the 1985, and the agitation is mainly because there is a conflict between the migrants and the natives of the state of the Assam. So they are saying that that means that Assam agitation, so mainly spearheaded by ASU, that is All Assam Students Union and Assam Gan Parishad. So the Assam ASU is saying that, so because of these migrants, the influx of these migrants into the state of the Assam, so has led to the loss of the employment opportunities and also the changing the cultural aspect and the political fortunes because of these illegal immigrants entering into the state of the Assam. So as a result of this Assam agitation, that is a 6-year long Assam agitation, so between 1979 to 1985 ended with signing the Assam Accord between the state of the Assam, the ASU and the central government. And the crux of this Assam Accord is to identification of these illegal immigrants and detention of these illegal immigrants and deportation of this identified illegal immigrants to their native countries. So that is the soul of this Assam Accord. I could say that one of the demand in the Assam agitation and is also mentioned in the Assam Accord is that updating the NRC. So by updating this NRC, we could identify the illegal immigrants and we can detain the illegal immigrants, and whether we can send these illegal immigrants into the detention camps, or maybe if it is agreed by the native countries, we can deport these illegal immigrants to their native countries. So that is the objective of this updating the NRC. I could say that there are two fundamental objectives behind this updating the NRC. Is that one aspect is that identification of these illegal immigrants and also the consideration of the national security. So there is a report saying that so because of this illegal immigrants, there is a problem to the law and order, right? So how we can update this NRC is a question before the government of union government as well as the state governments. So here how we can proceed to updating this NRC. So here there is a list of 14 documents that has to be submitted while updating this NRC. As I mentioned that, so since 1951, this NRC was not updated. But the Supreme Court has taken seriously that, so in updating this NRC, the present updating process of NRC is monitored by the Supreme Court judgment 2013. So as I mentioned that, so there is a mentioning of the legacy data. What is meant by legacy data? So legacy data is that it is a data which consists of original NRC data of 1951 and the electoral rolls that were updated up to the midnight of the 24th March 1971. So if the name of the person or his ancestors are listed in the original NRC data or any of the electoral rolls that were updated up to 24th March 1971, so they can be included into the present updating process of NRC. So beside this legacy data, so the valid documents, there are a set of 12 other documents, so where the eligible persons can also be included into the NRC. So remaining people will be are classified as doubters. I could say that primarily provisionally they are considered as illegal immigrants. And the present, after the final draft was released, the government is also given another more opportunity so to prove their claims that whether they are the citizens of the country or the illegal immigrants by the next month. So after that the final draft would be published. So here the way forward is that so the 40 lakh people who were out of this final draft would be given next chance in order to prove their citizenship. Otherwise these people, how we can handle this remaining illegal immigrants? So that is also a very question mark, whether the illegal immigrants after final draft is published can be detained or deported. The problem is that Indian government is not having any deportation agreement with the Bangladesh government, and is also in the present circumstances the Bangladesh government is not in ready mode to accept these illegal immigrants into their own country. So this aggravates the problem in the present process. So with this we are moving to the next topic, that is Madras High Court reserves the order in the director's disqualification case. Here the case is not very relevant. So here the case is that the ROC disqualifying the directors of the private companies for non-filing the financial statements for a period of 3 consecutive financial years. Here the keyword that was mentioned is ROC. So in this context, what is you have to focus? Here the keyword is ROC, that is the Register of Companies. So what is the legality of this Register of Companies, and what are the major functions of this ROC, and the ministry that is associated with the ROC would be given priority in prelims point of view. Here I could say that so Register of the Companies were established as per the Companies Act. The primary duty of this ROC is that registering the companies I could say that this ROC, registrar of the companies, so the primary duty is the registering the companies, and the limited liability partnership floated in respect to states and union territories. So that is the primary objective of ROC. I could say that the primary function, that the primary duty is to registering the companies, and it is a repository. In India, we have almost more than 6 lakh companies that are operating in the country, and I could say that the office of the ROC provides a huge repository of the data of the companies that are presently operating. So, and also ensuring that companies and the LLPs complying with the statutory requirement of the Companies Act and Limited Liability Partnership Act. And also this ROC can ask these companies which are registered with them, so of any data that is relevant, that is very relevant, that is necessary, so in order to comply with the provisions of this Company Act and LLP Act. So in most of the cases, so it can search the premises and seize the books with the prior permission from the court. So another most important function of this ROC is it can file the petition in seeking of winding the company. So we can start the company by registering with the ROC, and also we can't wind up without striking off your name with the ROC registry. I could say that, so you have to focus what is the function, the legality of this ROC, and the which ministry. I could say that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is the nodal ministry of this ROC. When it comes to next topic, that is NBRC researchers decipher how the Zika virus causes microcephaly. Here, the National Brain Research Center of Gurgaon identified the relation between how the protein E of the Zika virus is causing the microcephaly. So in this context, what you have to focus is very relevant to us. So here the keywords is that, so what is meant by Zika virus, where it was first identified, what are the symptoms of this virus, and what is the mode of the transmission of this Zika virus, and whether the vaccination is available, and the microcephaly disease, so would be looked under this topic. So the Zika virus was first identified in Uganda in 1947. So here the major symptoms is that, so it can cause fever, rashes, joint pains. So almost these symptoms are very so normal in case of Zika virus. So even it causes redness in the whites of the eyes. So virus can be found in the fluids of the blood, semen, urine, saliva of the infected people. Even the fluids in the eyes, so of these symptoms of this virus can be found. Here the mode of transmission is very relevant. Here the mode of transmission of Zika virus is transmitted by Aedes mosquito, so which is also vector in transmitting dengue virus, dengue fever, yellow fever, and chikungunya. And the sexual transmission is also another mode of transmission of this Zika virus. So there is a similarity between HIV virus and Zika virus. The modus of transmission of Zika virus is also one of the modus of transmission of Zika virus is also sexual transmission, as in case of HIV virus. Right now there is no vaccination against this Zika virus, right? Next, coming to microcephaly. So what is meant by microcephaly is, so abnormal small development of the head. It means that the persons, particularly the pregnant women, were infected by this Zika virus, so result in delivering the baby with the small head, also in some cases underdeveloped mind. So this is the photo of this microcephaly infected babies. Particularly the where the severely impacted because of Zika virus is that pregnant woman. So right now the microcephaly is known as abnormal small head, or in some cases it would lead to the underdevelopment of the brain. Coming to the amendments that is proposed to the Citizenship Act. Here the background for this proposed the Amendment Act is that the present government is planning to give the citizenship to the persecuted minority from the neighboring countries by changing the definition of illegal immigrants by proposing the amendments to the existing Citizenship Act. So in this context, we are going to discuss what is the test of persecution, so what is the meaning of illegal immigrants, and how the proposed amendments would give citizenship to the illegal immigrants, and what is the criticism and way forward would be discussed under this proposed amendment act. Here, as I mentioned, that the religious persecution is persecuting their own country, own citizens in their own nations based on the religion. Here, the definition of illegal immigrants is that the citizens who are migrating from their own countries in search of the better employment in order to avoid the persecution, or maybe to avoid in order to save their lives. So in case of the civil war or the military exercise. So that are the three reasons of this illegal immigrants crossing their own borders and entering into the own country, our country. So as I mentioned that, so the three reasons for the migrants that are crossing their own country is that, first and foremost is that, so in order to save their lives, so on the grounds of the civil war or military war, or the persecution that is pursued by their own countries, and also in search of the better employment opportunities. The present amendment plans to change the definition of illegal immigrants. So here I could say that the illegal immigrants that is existing in the present act is that, so where the citizens without any valid passports or without any valid documents or with the forged documents or staying in the country after expiring their visa term are considered as illegal immigrants. The proposed amendments is that, so that was introduced in the Lok Sabha on July 15, 2016, seeks to amend the Citizenship Act to provide the citizenship to the illegal migrants by changing the definition of illegal immigrants from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, who belongs to various religions except Muslim. So right from Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians, so who were facing the persecution in their own countries, would be given the citizenship. I could say that the non-Muslims who were facing the persecution in their own country and migrated from their own country to the country of India would be offered citizenship. So here the criticism, as I mentioned, is that, so there is no provision of the Muslims that are mentioned in the present amendment. So the Shias and Ahmadis were also the minorities in the Pakistan. They are also facing the persecution. So they can be offered the citizenship if the intention of the present government is noble. The combined effect, the criticism is that, on one hand we are updating the NRC, and the process of this updating this NRC is to identify the illegal immigrants and the detention of these illegal immigrants and deportation of these identified immigrants into their own countries. So that is the major objective of this NRC. Say consider that out of the 40 lakh people were out of the final draft that is published on 30th of July. So out of the 40 lakh people, say consider that the 20 lakh people again would testify they are the bona fide citizens of the countries, and what is the future of this 20 lakh people who were left out of the final NRC updating process is completed. So here the solution is that, so how the government of India is going to deal. So that is the big question mark that is existing before the government of India, whether these identified illegal immigrants can be detained forever or can be deported back to their own countries, whether the neighbors from where these immigrants were originally migrated to the Indian country are in ready state to accept their own citizens. So in the present circumstances, the Bangladeshi government or Pakistani, Afghanistani government, they are not in ready mode to accept these illegal immigrants. So then what would be the solution? I could say that this proposed amendments would be the one of the solution. And I could say that one of the criticism again is this NRC process updating and proposed amendment is that, so the overall exercise of this updating NRC and the Citizenship Amendment Act would negate the entire process. On one hand, we are identifying the illegal immigrants by updating the NRC process. On the other hand, we are offering the citizenship to the illegal immigrants by changing the definition. It means that, so whoever belongs to the all the religions except Islam community may be migrated after 1971 would be given citizenship, because the test of the persecution is a subjective matter. We can't define the persecution in real terms, and also there is no documentation to prove their persecution in their own country. So in reality, the combined effect of this NRC updating process and the proposed amendment to the Citizenship Act, if it is enacted, so the combined effect would be in negation. That means mutually exclusive in nature. So I mean that, so we are identifying illegal immigrants, and also we are going to retain these illegal immigrants by offering the Citizenship Act. The only result is that we are going to detain the Muslims who are illegally migrated from the neighboring countries. So remaining religious citizens would be offered citizenship. So that is a fundamental discrimination policy, that is a discrimination tool in the form of Citizenship Amendment Bill. So that is introduced in the Lok Sabha. So the way forward is that, so we constituted joint parliamentary committee on the Citizenship Amendment Bill, and the term of this present joint parliamentary committee was extended till the last week of the present ongoing monsoon session. So we have to wait for the report of this JPC, and based on the report of the JPC, maybe we could offer the citizenship to the persecuted Muslims who are facing the persecution in their own country. So with this, we are closing the session. Thank you.